1037 by Senator Brewer. Chairman Brewer.
Well, I wish I could tell you that I was successful in going down and presenting in front of judiciary, but they are still on their first bill, and a handful of testifiers is all we got through. So consequently, we're gonna go through LB 1037, and then I may have to race down there to do that. So with that, Senator Aguilar, members of the Government Committee, I'm Senator Tom Brewer. For the record, that's TOM-BREWER, representing 11 counties of the 43rd Legislative District. I'm here today to introduce LB 1037 on behalf of the Nebraska chapter of the Veterans of Foreign Wars. The problem this bill is trying to solve is keeping swindlers, con men, individuals from taking advantage of Nebraska veterans and charging them for veteran services that they do not end up receiving service for. This will prevent individuals or companies from defrauding Nebraska veterans or their dependents or survivors from being defrauded. This bill prohibits the act of preparing, presenting, or presenting claims before the United States Department of Veterans Affairs, U.S. Department of Defense, or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs by someone who does not adhere to the federal or state regulations or adhering to the training standards and therefore unrecognized by the state or federal statutes in performing these duties. The intent of LB 1037 is to ensure that no person or company is allowed to purposely defile regulations, falsely proposed favorable or results that will confuse individual veterans, mislead, and charge unreasonable fees or payments. LB 1037 designates that this practice and behavior is a violation of the Nebraska Uniform Deceptive Trade Practices Act and provides remedies through enforcement, prosecution, and penalties under those specific statutes. LB 1037 is a no-nonsense, common sense legislative bill designed to deliver a simple message. No person or company will defraud a veteran or their dependents from benefits that they have earned through their service to their community, their state, and their nation. Subject to your questions, this concludes my opening.
Thank you, Senator Brewer. Questions? Seeing none, thank you.
All right, and what I'll do is try and get back in time to close, but if I'm not back, then I'll waive the close.
Very good. First proponent to 1037. If you'd like to testify on this bill, please come up to the front. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Senators. My name is Doug Whitaker, spelled DOUG-WHITAKER. I am a resident of Papillion, Nebraska. I'm also currently the VFW National Judge Advocate. LB 1037 protects disabled veterans from bad actors when applying for VA compensation. VA compensation is a benefit provided to veterans due to disabilities, diseases, or injuries incurred or aggravated during military service. To access these benefits, veterans must first file a claim with the VA. For disabled veterans, preparing such a claim can be stressful, burdensome, and overwhelming. To protect veterans needing assistance, federal law requires that no individual may assist in the preparation, presentation, and prosecution of VA claims as an agent or attorney unless they are VA accredited. In essence, accreditation means that an agent or attorney has met strict professional and ethical standards established to prevent veterans from being exploited. In Nebraska, we have an exceptional network of accredited state and county veteran service officers, as well as VA accredited veteran service organizations who never charge a fee for these services. Nonetheless, Nebraska veterans do have a choice in retaining private agents and attorneys who are also VA accredited. Although these individuals are prohibited from charging fees for work performed on initial claims, they are allowed to charge for services performed when appealing an initial VA decision. But even then, fees on appeal are subject to a reasonableness standard. Some veterans prefer making this choice, and LB 1037 does not prevent them from doing so. However, as with any federal program, there are bad actors who try to circumvent or break the law for their own personal gain. In the veteran community, these actors are known as claim sharks. Claim sharks allege they are merely educating or guiding veterans through the claims process. Therefore, they do not need to be accredited, when in fact they are unlawfully charging veterans for preparing, presenting, and prosecuting both initial claims and appeals. Their goal is to get as much of the veterans' VA compensation as possible without having to comply with federal law and its limitations on fees. They induce veterans in unconscionable and unlawful fee agreements by guaranteeing an increased disability rating as well as expedited claims processing times, which no agent or attorney can do. Then, to ensure they collect their unlawful fee, they relentlessly bill the veteran, eventually sending them to collections, which causes harm to the veteran's credit score. If passed, LB 1037 will expressly make these unscrupulous practices a violation of the Deceptive Trade Practices Act, just like any other fraudulent commercial activity the unicameral has already prohibited. LB 1037 does not impact any agent or attorney that is in compliance with federal law. Subject to that,
Finish your thought.
I'm done, sir. That was my last word. I timed that one good, didn't I?
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service. Thank you. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Good afternoon, Vice Chairman Aguilar and the committee. My name's Chris Beatty. I spell CHRISBEATY, the VFW commander for the Department of Nebraska. I am here to voice my support for Chairman Brewer's bill of 1037. The VFW has expanded its outreach to veterans throughout the state for the last 2 years. We have attended county and state fairs, golf tournaments, rodeos, home shows, trade, sports, and gun shows. We have spoken to veterans to find out if they file their claim for benefits in compensation, pension, and enrollment in the VA. Throughout our travels, we found numerous veterans that have filed neither, nor have they the misconception of how the system works. We have confidently referred them to county and state veteran service officers to determine their eligibility. Hearing all the commercials on the news, media, and online, veterans are believing they must contact a lawyer or pay a fee to get these benefits. This is incorrect unless there are unusual circumstances. To file a claim with a county or state service officer or veteran service organization service officer, there's absolutely no charge. This is a free service. We tell veterans, always work with accredited representatives. Do not sign contract. Do not agree to fees for prospective benefit payments. Do not agree to pay for medical consultations of opinions. Do not provide access to PHI, PII to unaccredited individuals. There are companies that operate in this great state of Nebraska that have misled veterans or surviving spouses in particular into thinking they must pay for this service. A perfect example of this is actually a veteran needing assisted living care. The veteran was told that no need to go to a veteran service officer because the facility had partnered with a company that would file a petition for them for free. Unfortunately, following their first month in the facility, they received a statement that included a $700 fee. for the petition application. This has got to stop. LB 1037 is the answer to preventing this illegal and unethical practice in the future. Thank you for your opportunity to testify today, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. However, you will be hearing from my quartermaster adjutant later on, and he will likely defer any technical questions for him to answer.
Any questions from the committee? Seeing none? Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
service. Welcome.
Good afternoon. I'm Greg Holloway, GREG-HOLLOWAY. I am the current chairman of the Nebraska Veterans Council. And we represent all the recognized veterans organizations and the County Veteran Service Officers Association. And we unanimously agreed with us that we do support this bill 100%. I was also a nationally accredited service officer of Military Order of the Purple Hearts. The key was, I'm not anymore. I've retired from that and didn't keep up my accreditation. So I cannot, as far as I'm concerned, represent any veteran in a veteran service claim, and even without asking for money. So I just really, everybody's going to say everything that should be said, but I would say anybody that would oppose protecting the citizens of the state of Nebraska, I would discredit immediately, because this is our job as a veterans community and the senators in the state of Nebraska to make sure that residents of the state of Nebraska are protected within the law as much as they possibly can. Any questions, I will answer them.
Questions? Seeing none? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service. Welcome
Thank you.
back.
I'm Boyd Yoakum, Senior Vice Commander for the Nebraska American Legion. We represent 27,000 veterans in Nebraska and Legionnaires. I think the bill is worded too nice, but that's my opinion. The purpose of this bill is to protect Nebraska veterans from being defrauded by predator ambulance chasers that collect fees from veteran benefit matters.
Boyd,
This-
would you spell your name for us?
So
please?
Yochum is last name, Boyd, B-O-Y-D.
Thank you.
Thank you. The service is provided to veterans by county veteran service officers that are already paid for with our tax dollars, and the services they're done for the veterans for free. I've seen where 30 to 70% of veteran earned compensation goes to predator lawyers. If something changes and the veteran is awarded further compensation down the road, the lawyer still gets their percentage. It's just not right. And so the American Legion supports LB 1037. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Boyd. Any questions? Seeing none? Thank you. Next proponent.
Handouts, and I said one for myself this time. So. Good afternoon, Senators. Again, my name is Spike Jordan, SPIKE JORDAN. I'm here to lend my support to Colonel Brewer and to LB 1037. I would have not made the 7-hour drive down today if I were not passionate about this issue. I've been blessed with the honor of helping veterans in Northwest Nebraska as the Sioux County Veterans Service Officer. I've undergone hundreds of hours of professional training, and I'm accredited through multiple service organizations in order to better assist veterans in obtaining the benefits that they have earned. I do not charge the veterans who come to me for help. Instead, I receive a modest monthly salary from the county in order to perform that necessary duty. If I'm successful in my mission, the veteran will not only receive free health care from the VA, but also tax-free monthly compensation for the disabilities they incurred while serving our country. Our veterans deserve a VSO in their corner. However, a shameless cottage industry has been operating under our noses. It's a confederacy of confidence men, predators, and parasites who have suckered Nebraska's veterans and spouses into signing binding contracts to, quote, assist them with obtaining VA benefits. The deceptive practices of these so-called claim sharks take advantage of our veterans by charging unnecessary fees and by leeching off of the monthly disability and pension checks, which many veterans and their spouses use to survive. Such operations are an insult to the taxpayer, to our veterans and their families, and frankly, they're an insult to this country. Claim sharks lack the necessary experience, credentials, and ethical constitution required to effectively prepare, present, and prosecute VA claims. Yet they maintain a lucrative enterprise, charging veterans for things which county and state service officers can already provide at no cost to the veteran. Contrary to what was claimed in the text messages many Nebraskans received on Monday afternoon, nothing about LB 1037 prevents a veteran from seeking professional assistance in obtaining VA benefits. LB 1037 does not limit their choices when they seek qualified professional representation. What LB 1037 does is define these chicaneries as violations of the Uniform Deceptive Trade Practices Act. Attorneys and agents who represent clients before the VA are required to comply with the existing codes of conduct and ethical standards, as well as existing Nebraska laws. If fees are charged for services, they can only be under the allowable circumstances found in federal law. I would ask the senators to please help us put these bad actors out in the cold. Please help us curb these unsavory, unethical practices. Please help us pass LB 1037. Thank you for your time, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Next proponent.
Good afternoon, Senators.
Welcome.
My name is Mark Lakamp, Marklakkamp. I'm the County Veteran Service Officer for Lancaster County. Today I'm speaking in support of LB 1037 as a Department of Veterans Affairs accredited Veteran Service Officer. I won't repeat, well, I'll have some, I guess, what the other witness points are on why this bill is required. Instead, I'll point out there's absolutely no reason for any veteran in the state of Nebraska to pay for assistance in filing a claim with the VA. No matter where a veteran lives in the state, there are trained experts who can help them file claims with the VA at absolutely no cost. Every county in the state has accredited veteran service officers with salaries paid by their county to assist veterans in filing claims with the VA. The State Service Office of the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs has accredited service officers whose job is to assist veterans in filing claims. Additionally, the various veteran service organizations in the state have accredited VSOs to do the same thing. There are over 140 VA-accredited VSOs listed in Nebraska on the VA Office of General Counsel's accreditation website. These VSOs are trained in how to file all types of claims, including appeals, with the VA. They must complete annual continuing education requirements, and most importantly, they are held to an ethical standard required of accredited VSOs. None of the non-accredited claims consultants LB 1037 will ban can say this. These claim sharks LB 1037 will eliminate are not accredited by the VA. They are not held to any ethical standard. They do not complete regular training. And most importantly, they are not working for the benefit of the veteran. They only exist to enrich themselves from taking a portion of the money that a veteran is rightfully entitled to, often using unethical means. The fact they are paying to send misleading texts to veterans to oppose LB 1037 shows how unethical they are. Please do what is right to help prevent these claim sharks from preying on Nebraska veterans by making LB 1037 straight law. And I'm standing by for any questions you may have about the claims process or anything else. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, thank you. Any other proponents? Welcome back, Don.
Thank you. Vice Chair Aguilar, members of the Government, Military, and Veterans Affairs Committee. My name is John Cannon, Joncannon. I want to be very, very clear. I am not testifying in my capacity as the Executive Director of NACO. I'm here in my own personal capacity, taking about a half an hour of vacation, and hopefully the board approves this later on. I want to thank Senator Brewer for bringing this bill. I think it's extremely important. We had considered this at the NACO board. I just said I'm not representing NACO, but we had considered this as a board issue. Ultimately, we decided it was not strictly a county issue. It was something that was really more than Unfair Deceptive Trade Practices Act. It prohibits fraud. There's nothing inherently wrong with the bill. And so we said, the veterans probably have this one handled. And then I got a text on Monday afternoon, and I'm just going to read it if that's all right. It says, warning for Nebraska veterans, Nebraska Bill LB 1037 threatens to limit veterans' choice to seek expert assistance with VA disability claims. Veterans in Nebraska would no longer be allowed to receive professional service and support when navigating the VA's complex disability claim system. There's a lot more that says, you should submit comments to the website. I don't think I need to go into that. I would certainly urge you to ignore any of those comments that you might receive, since I think they were obtained under false pretenses personally. And what that text does is it demonstrates the point. There are some people out there that probably don't feel that they're bound by any sort of ethical boundary that might require them to say who they are and who they represent and who's paying for them. We have great VSOs across the state, and they certainly have done an able job of representing themselves before this committee in the past and certainly today. We are not interested in, and the reason NACO did not take the bill up is because NACO is not interested in making all veterans go to just the VSOs, because we know there are capable attorneys, law firms that are out there that have been accredited, and we don't want to discourage that by any stretch of the imagination. And again, I will stress the fact that I'm not here representing NACO, but I am happy to take any questions you may have.
Any questions for John? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next proponent.
Good afternoon, Senator Aguilar, members of the committee. My name is Ryan McIntosh, MCINTOSH, and I appear before you today on behalf of the National Guard Association of Nebraska. I won't belabor my testimony. I'll just simply point to those that have testified before me and ask the committee to urge this, as it is a measure that does affect many of our members, including our current and retired members. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you. Next proponent. Welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Vice Chairman Aguilar, members of the Government, Military, and Veterans Affairs Committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. My name is Jeffrey Baker, JEFFREYBAKER, and I am here to testify on behalf of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. Department of Nebraska is a proponent of LB 1037, which prohibits the unethical conduct and improper collection of fees relating to assistance or referrals of veterans benefit matters and outlines ethical standards. In an effort to not duplicate the testimony of other proponents, I would like to talk about a few numbers that are a reflection of the VFW Department of Nebraska's position on LB 1037. These numbers will demonstrate the reasoning for and the importance of LB 1037 and its passage in this unicameral session. The first number I would like to testify about is the number 0. This number represents the amount of money the Veterans of Foreign Wars, American Legion, Disabled American Veterans, Paralyzed Veterans of America, the Marine Corps League, and AMVETS receives from veterans in Nebraska when working with veterans on VA benefits. 0 also represents the concern that the VFW Department of Nebraska has with accredited agents or attorneys representing veterans in Nebraska because they meet the VA requirements under 38 CFR. Lastly, 0 represents the times the Nebraska Veterans Council has taken a position on any legislative bill ever in which an out-of-state company has hired a lobbyist or has mass text messages sent out deceiving Nebraskans about one of its priority bills, until a week ago with LB 1037. I include references in your packets for review. The second number I would like to speak about is the number 100. This number represents the 100th legislature, when a former senator introduced overhauling language to the Deceptive Trade Practice Act, which prohibits schemes from defrauding by means of obtaining money or property by knowingly false or fraudulent pretenses, representations, or promises was introduced and signed into law. Although this bill was introduced to combat live check solicitations and unsolicited billing statements, the statement of intent of the previous bill provides a specific general fraud provision that characterizes the intent of LB 1037 today. The third and last number I would like to speak about is the number 15,000.
The number represents the amount of money the VFW Department of Nebraska awarded youth across Nebraska in scholarship winnings and travel costs associated with our Voice for Democracy and Patriots Pen programs, programs that encourage Americanism and patriotism in today's youth. But it also represents the amount of money contracted for this legislative session by an out-of-state company to hire a lobbyist to try to derail LB 1037 and convince you and your fellow senators that one, a Las Vegas company knows what is best for Nebraska, and two, that every single veteran service organization in this state does not. I ask you for your support of LB 1037 and vote it onto general file as soon as possible. The veterans of Nebraska deserve to be protected. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions?